when I came here to do my first film, I was 30. So it wasn't, and you know, I'd been studying for a while and I'd been acting for a while in Australia. I have a real, genuine appreciation for what's happened to me and what is continuing to happen for me. And I don't take it for granted. And if it goes tomorrow, I'll always think, wow, that was great. I never expected to have it. So I think that's part of it. And also, I genuinely love what I do. And so that's why I'm coming back to do the show, actually, because probably of all the things I do, being on stage and singing, just interacting with an audience, dancing is probably the thing I love the most. It's probably where I feel most comfortable. So it feels like coming home in a way. So it's, and my goal for the show was to create a show where I couldn't wait to do it. So I never wanted to feel like, oh, I need a, I just don't have the, like, oh, I have a spare day, let's go and do that.
Right, and it comes across, you can totally tell.
Right.
Tell our audiences who haven't seen the San Francisco show,
yeah,
what can they expect from Hugh Jackman in concert?
Well, Hugh Jackman in concert is going to be a fun night. I have a great time doing it. There's probably a third to a half of it is sort of musical theatre, Broadway related. Some of the stuff I've done a number of musicals in the past. Some people don't know that. So some of the things I've done, like The Boy from Oz, like Peter Allen makes a comeback. Some of the things I've wanted to do, like some of the great musicals. And then some standards, some rock and roll. I tell a lot of stories. Everything is personal. Everything's related to something part of my life. I show very embarrassing photos of me and footage of me from films and things like that. So it's genuinely, it's a very personal night, I would say. I like to kind of just open up and show you, you'll get to know who I am by the end of the show.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. And people have been saying this, and in the best possible sense, that you are a bit of a throwback for a young actor. There's something about you that is a bit like Sinatra.
I love you said young actor, thank you.
But there is something about actors of your generation don't usually do this.
Right.
There's something of Sinatra and something of Bob Hope, and I'm thinking, of course, about you hosting the Oscars as well,
right. Yeah.
which I've covered them. I know it's not an easy job to host them.
Right.
Is this something that was always part of the plan when you were growing up? Did you watch a lot of those guys?
It wasn't the plan. To be honest, my plan when I was a teenager was to have like the equivalent of Matt Lauer's job on the Today Show. I thought, that's a great job. Travels, meets people, you know, he's done at 11 a.m. It's all good.
I still want that job. If you get it, let me know
yeah,
how.
I heard he's wrapping up, right? No. So, in a way, but from that you can see that, or a kind of variety show. A variety has always been something I love. One of my happiest times of my life was being at drama school. 3 years where in any given day you would do circus school, Shakespeare, singing, scene study, you'd have a show at night, like changing that. For me, that is what I've always loved. And in Australia, you can't specialise because you can't have a career. It's too small an industry. You have to do a bit of everything. So it kind of really played into that for me. And when I got here, I didn't think Wolverine would be the first thing I'd get cast in. You know, I was like, great. And so I was kind of surprised that for a while those were the movies I was getting. So I tried to do different things. And my very vague theory of how to do this, because no one really knows how to have a career, but is to try and open as many doors as possible. Not only for a career, but I think just for who you are creatively. You need to keep pushing yourself. That's what works for me. I find if I do this show here in Toronto, I'm a better actor on film the next film I go to. It sharpens me in a way, and vice versa. So
they feed into each other.
Yeah.
And just I wanted to ask you, you seem to have this kind of, there's a duality to your career that not a lot of other actors seem to be able to have. On the one hand, you're like this ultimate action hero, right. And I do believe Wolverine is Canadian, actually.
He is Canadian.
He is.
You're right, absolutely
Canadian
right.
X-Men.
You know, I fought to have a Canadian accent in those movies, and everyone said no to me because I'm Australian. Right. They figured that everybody would think I just got the American accent wrong.
Right, right.
So I kind of understood that thinking. So I'm sorry, Canadian fans. He is Canadian. I do say that in the Wolverine movie.
Yeah, I know. And why do you think people have been able to accept you as, on the one hand, this ultimate action hero, on the other hand, the Broadway guy?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Honestly, because Wolverine happened first. I think if I got known for Broadway first here, I think I wouldn't have been cast in Wolverine, because it's a bit of a leap. But I think what happens now, I go to shows, and literally in the show, when I do it in San Francisco, I come out and I show some footage from Wolverine, and there's always a good 20 or 30 guys out there going, Wolverine! And I'm like, oh, man, you guys are in for a long night. If you thought I was just going to come and get the claws out and, you know, start slicing and dicing, I don't know what they expected.